Hello everyone. Happy 4th of July. I don't celebrate it myself, but I'm back at one of my old stealth camp areas in one of my favorite towns, St. Mary's. St. Mary's, PA. Good location. Good strategic location for life in general, for affordability, pretty low in crime, and compared to the national average, the people here are pretty darn good to deal with obvious exception. I always say that. Lots of woods around here, lots of places where I can do my stealth camping. I just got through stocking up a stealth camp area with some canned food and some water, and I just got through checking my old stealth camp areas, and the restocking with the canned food and the water, it went really well, and it's definitely a go. And my old stealth camp areas are like perfectly preserved, like a time capsule. Everything's preserved. I mean, everything. Nothing is out of place. Every stick I left behind, everything I left behind is still there. The little, what is it? I like cut a path through some laurel to a secret location where I used to stealth camp. And it was a path wide enough to where if somebody found it, they could have walked through it and so forth. But no one walked through it. The same little trees that I kind of left as decoy trees. Like I'll cut a tree or limbs down from one area and stick them up in front of the path to discourage people from wanting to go, walking through, to make it look like it's all full of trees. Well, all of the leaves are off of the trees that big limbs that I put there, and I cut down a couple of small pine to lay in front of the path 2 years ago when I was here to discourage anybody from finding it. And those, obviously the pine needles are gone, but the trees are still there. Like everything is still there. Then I walked through the walked through the path that I cut through the laurel and went to where my old stealth camp was, where I stayed for 7 months in 2023. Everything is exactly the same. Nothing's changed. And nothing's changed in the area generally. I've been here for about 5 days staying at my friend's house. My friend's gone out of town for a little bit, and I'm kind of house sitting. I can't do it very much because there's only so many days that she's allowed to let visitors spend the night, because it's the way her apartment complex is. But I've been here for a few days, and it'll give me a little bit more time to, I'll still be able to have some more days, throughout the months that I stay here. I plan on staying here for 2 months. I know the people that own the gyms. They're really small mom and pop gyms, and they work with me on the price, and everything's cool with that. So I've got gym memberships at 2 very inexpensive gyms. People that know me for years, they work with me on the price. And let me see. Other than that, I'm stocking up on food. I have a couple tubs of protein powder that I had stashed in my storage unit. Good plant-based stuff. I have a few supplements to get me started. And now I'm going to start camping out probably Sunday. I got the place to myself till tomorrow night. Sunday morning, my friend's place. Sunday morning, I'm going to leave and start stealth camping. And this is one of my favorite areas. Look at how nice it is. I love this town. I mean, they're a little reserved and um, they click up a bit, you know. So on that level, I'm not really fond of the people here, just because they're kind of clicky. Hey, how you doing, Loyal? I don't know who you are, but you know, welcome. I'm just stocking up my stealth camp in this town that I have been in before, and this is St. Mary's, Pennsylvania. I like it here. I'm going to go to the gym here for a couple of months. I'm getting up there in years, so I've always got to stop during the summer and do some training, or else I won't be around too much longer. If you're chronically homeless and you're getting into your late 50s, you know, you've got to stay in shape. You really got to take stock of your health all the time. You don't have to be, you know, Mr. Olympia. You don't have to be an Olympic athlete. You don't have to be a world-class athlete at all, or even, you know, try to emulate that kind of stuff. But you got to stay functional, you know what I mean? And that's my main goal. Stay functional, stay healthy, eat as healthy as I can. Once in a while I'll have a drink at night, but not too often. Once in a while I'll have a few snacks and a little bit of junk food, but not too often. And overall, I just, you know, try to stay in the woods and keep that juggling. And then I make plans for something else, I guess. Every season in my life is a new plateau of enlightenment. At least that's my hopes. I believe that life is a long transmigration of the soul, and this is just one of the steps that we're on. We're here to pack our bags for the journey, you know. And anyways, I want to do the best I can. So anyways, I'll show off the town and say hello in case there's anyone still watching. Nope, there's no one watching now, but this here is St. Mary's, PA, and Elk County Catholic High School. A lot of Catholic around here. A lot of people around here have those statuettes of Mary. Not my thing. The only thing I like about Catholicism is I like the hermits. And I kind of respect the lifestyle of the nuns and the Trappist monks and stuff. I think it's really interesting and very inspiring. And they do have some words of wisdom, you know, and I put some of those up on my playlist because they're interesting to me. But I don't follow their ideology. I'm actually not very... Oh, how you doing, Matthew? Nice to see you. I'm back in St. Mary's, PA, and I'm stocking up on my stealth camp, you know, in the area. I mean, I got some canned food that I stashed, and I checked on some of my stuff that I had stashed for 2 years, and guess what? It's still there. I have a couple of buckets. They're still there. Got some survival gear in it. And I got a place. I got like a... what do I got? I got a cooler in the wedge of a old tree that's fallen down, and I can't believe it, but after 2 years it's still there. I still got my old tent. So this here is kind of what started St. Mary's. You see this here? It was the old monastery. Like I say, I'm not into the Catholic ideology or nothing like that, but I do respect the monks. I think that kind of thing is really inspiring to me, and I think the consecrated virgins and what else, the Trappist monks and the sisters, you know, I think their lifestyle is very interesting, and I think they got some words of wisdom, and you know, to some extent I think emulating them in my particular case, because I have an odd lifestyle. It's kind of interesting. But, you know, I just don't follow their ideology or anything. It's really a lot of Catholics around here. I think Catholics are kind of stubborn. They're a little ignorant, but they're stubborn too. Hard to reach them. But, you know, they're kind of cool in their own way, like I say. Here's an old Catholic church out in the distance. You can see it. I've gone in there in the wintertime. Let me see, what does Matthew have to say? Always praying for you, and Channel from Virginia. Big love from Virginia. Praying for your journey with God. Happy Independence Day. All right. Thank you, Matthew. I always appreciate it. I know your heart's in the right place, that's for sure. Yeah, this used to be a monastery for nuns, but they took it out of here for some reason. I don't know why. A long time ago. They just tore it down about 3 or 4 years ago, and there's a Benedictine gift shop. So I checked on everything. Everything's a go. I mean, I'm scared of getting busted. You know, that's the only thing. You know, I hate sneaking in, setting up at the evening time, sleeping, waking up in the morning, and then breaking my camp down and my tent down, and then hiding everything under a tarp and piling a bunch of leaves on top of the tarp before I go into town. That's what I hate, because it's so much damn work, you know, and then I got to get back to camp before it's dark so I can have enough time to drag it out of the area that I have it hidden, and then I got to set it all back up again just so I can get another night's sleep. So I hate doing that when I just want to stay in one location, hide real well, keep my tent up, and then just, you know, say some prayers in the morning and leave the camp and head into town and get my workouts in. Because now I have to work out. I got to keep this, you know, my body up, or I'm not going to be around too much longer, because I'm going to be hitting 56 at the end of this summer. And I know that's still young compared to a 70-year-old or whatever. I get it. But you are getting up there, you know, and you got to really start taking stock in your health when you're in your 50s. And regardless, no matter how healthy you are in your 50s, you're starting to lose yourself in bits and pieces. And by the time you get into your 60s, you're losing yourself in chunks. I've been informed by people in their 60s, but that's the real reality. Hello, good people around here. So anyways, I'm just trying to take stock in my health, and I'm trying to stay alive for another year, because I believe that every year is another, I guess it's like a seasonal transition, you know, towards higher plateaus of enlightenment in this long transmigration of the soul. That's my philosophy. I mean, we're here to pack our bags. That's what we're here for. Does that make sense to anyone? It does to me. I know nobody knows everything for sure. And, you know, when people have hopes and faith and all that stuff, you know, it's a bit of a stretch, you know. But, you know, I still, even if a part of our identity is annihilated at death, some of it's probably just chemicals, you know, going on in the brain. You know, when the brain dies, maybe part of us do. But I still believe in the transmigration of the soul. And what we do in the body definitely does matter. And I definitely believe there is a creator. And I think we're held accountable, for sure. Now, when it comes to the details, nobody knows for sure. But that much I feel that I have made contact with throughout my life. Divine intervention, that sort of stuff. Huh. Well, this is beautiful St. Mary's. I love this scene right here. Too bad this feels a few minutes later. It's like 10 to 5 now. This thing would go off. This goes off every hour. Well, anyways, I used to go in here sometimes when I was homeless in the winter, because the one thing I like about Catholic churches too, and that's a Catholic school, I think, over there. No, it's Paris Center. But one thing I like about Catholic churches is they, Sacred Heart, is they at least leave the doors open during the day. That's kind of cool, isn't it? And I'll tell you, it is really quiet in there, way quieter than the library. So that's the one thing I like about, another thing I like about Catholic churches. One, I like the Trappist monks lifestyle. I like, you know, some of their ways of, you know, their repetition throughout the day. I like the nuns. I think it's kind of interesting. I really like mystics and monks and some of the legends, which are probably not exactly true. They're probably overblown, but they're kind of neat. What else do I like? Consecrated virginity, I think, is kind of an interesting vocation. I definitely put some of that stuff on my playlist, not because I follow it. I don't follow the ideology, but my channel, in a way, is sort of like a spiritual resource or research center. Yeah. This person here, he bought it. It's a really great house, but it's unfortunate. You can see some of the bricks are coming loose, and whoever built it really didn't do that great of a job. Another. Huh. If that house was really together and didn't have the problems of the bricks falling out, that would be one cool place. It kind of looks like a Scooby-Doo, something in the Scooby-Doo cartoon. Maybe not quite as big, but almost. I'm getting pretty good bars. I'm thinking about trying to get a workout in, but I think I might wait off. Oh, wow. Look at this. Beautiful. I haven't seen a Camaro like that in a while. Gosh, it's gorgeous. Look at that. Oh, that is nice. That's probably 19, maybe 76. Huh. Maybe 77 or 8 at the latest 78. That sucker's in mint condition, but it's beefed up a little bit. It's not stock. It could have Bondo in it, but I don't think so. I think it's really preserved. Probably pretty expensive. A lot of money went into it. This here is like some kind of a bed and breakfast called the it's on the National Register of Historical Places. This is a place where you can come. The Cozy Afghan Bed and Breakfast. And they got another one out back too there. That and that. Pretty cool, huh? All right. There's the little library. It's definitely outdated. But all libraries are fading. Yeah, the libraries are going bye-bye. It's almost garden season. And Noah Road is a bit of a, I don't know, I don't raid people's gardens, but when I walk by, I will snag a couple of tomatoes. That's another thing I like. And high bush blueberries are coming in. It's definitely raspberry season, thank goodness. And pretty soon, apple season will be here before we all know it. This here is a little free food box. Good people, huh? There's another free food box at a church up here this way. Yeah. I wish I could make regular videos, but I don't have any iCloud space anymore. My iCloud is crashed because the phone is 5 years old. All right. Now this here is downtown, if you call it that. It's not the prettiest place. It's really a working class community. You know, nowadays, you know, working class is kind of a, I don't know, does that word really exist anymore? Kind of, but not like it do. But yeah, this is kind of a working class. People used to, they all grew up together. A lot of people were high school sweethearts. They get married, they have kids, and then the next generation of high school sweethearts that all know each other get married and have kids, and it keeps going like that. So a lot of people know each other. It's one of those kind of towns with a lot of deep family roots, and I kind of like it. The only thing I don't like about it is it's a little bit cliquey. And let me see, you can snag free charge there. And here is the Eternal Flame. I don't know if that's showing up, but there's a flame up there just in case it ain't showing up. And Here is the, what they call the Diamond. There's the Diamond Perk, that there is a coffee shop. There's a Boys and Girls Club of St. Mary's. Anybody can get a gym membership there. I see people. As you can see, there's some picnic tables here. There are parking places. It's very, I don't know, it's kind of nice, huh? Even though it's not the prettiest downtown. And what else? Yep, this is the downtown, St. Mary's. I'm about from where I'll be stealth camping. Maybe a tad, oh yeah, about a mile, 1 mile. I'll tell you, one of my biggest regret is that I was not the person that I am now a long time ago. I'll tell you, I never would have got a tattoo in my life. That's one thing I hate. The biggest thing I hate more than anything is my tattoos. Even though I got a couple of them that I don't mind too much, I just hate tattoos. See, it's not very pretty down here. It's working class. It's, you know, a lot of strong people around here. Good genetics. I always said if all of the towns around here for 100 miles got together and had a tug of war contest, I think St. Mary's would win. I love this town. There is the Elks Club over there. That is Tablespoons Cafe and Deli, and then there is the Village Peddler, which is another restaurant. Another local, has been around for, you know, all his life, and he started a restaurant. And there is the resale shop. Now that's right across the street from the Goodwill. That shop there, you can get a pair of pants for $2 and shirts for $1. If you go to the Goodwill, you're gonna pay like $7 for a pair of pants and $5 or $6 for a t-shirt. This place, I never go there. That's just books for kids. And over here, that's the Moose. And here is the Goodwill. Everything's closed because it's the 4th of July. I don't celebrate it. I think the entire essence of the 4th of July is long gone. And it's just a bunch of racket and noise. The only thing good is people get to relax, you know, and they don't have to show up for work most of the time. Most of them don't. This here is another local place, DD's Bakery. They make everything from scratch here. They make their own donuts. That's their specialty. This here is a wonderful place. They make all their homemade ice cream with local dairy milk and cream. This place here. And then there's a meat shop right over there. And then over here we got the other part of the town, which is the Sheets. And everybody goes to Sheets to hang out. There's a bar on the corner, and yeah, this used to be a couple of shops like 10 years ago, but they tore them down and put this park in their place. Well, and then they got a little exercise place over here. All right, well, I know him. Here is the parking garage and buses. They got a really good busing system here. You can go all the way out to Emporium, which is 20 miles from here, maybe a little more. You can do that every day. You can go down to the valley, down to Penfield, which is about 20 miles. Where else can you go? Ridgeway, that's 10 miles. You can go there for $1.25. You can go down to Du Bois, which is like 35 miles once a week, there and back, once every Friday. If you're in Du Bois, this bus system will take you from Du Bois to Clearfield and back again. And it goes through Grampian and Curwensville. It's a very good busing system. It only costs, I think, $275 for all of that. That's a big ride. It's like probably 30, and they do that every day. Clearfield from Du Bois to Clearfield, and Clearfield back to Du Bois, twice a day actually. And they go through Curwensville and Grampian, which makes it probably about 30 miles one way. So that's pretty good for $275, I think it is. If I'm mistaken. And you can there's factories this way, about 2 miles down, 3 miles down. And if people work and they don't have cars, they can come here in the morning and get a ride down to the factory. And I think the factory will actually give you a bus pass. I don't know about that though, but I think they will. Pretty good people here. I mean, there's people that say there's crime around here, and I'm sure there is, but it's certainly, compared to the national average, it's really light. Gosh. And it's affordable to live. I'm sure you can get a one-bedroom apartment for under $5, or maybe, I don't know, between $5 and $6. You know, I'm not saying that is going to pop out everywhere, but certainly there's 550, one-bedroom apartments, with everything included, My friend is paying, I think she has Section 8. That's why she can only have visitors so often a year. But I think she pays like $270 or something like that. Oh, hey, Melody. This is great. Yeah, I just checked on my my stealth camping areas. I'm staying at my friend's house. I got the place to myself till tomorrow evening. Sunday morning, I'm gonna head out, and I'll be back in the stealth camping circuit here in St. Mary's, which is the place where I was at in 2023. It's mellow, it's calm here, it's pretty safe. I mean, so far so good, there's no trespassing signs, or, there's nothing that's changed in the places where I was stealth camping. And a tent and a couple of things that I had stashed, Joe, is still there. And so it looks like it's a go. Thank goodness. I'm a little scared right now because I am worried, because I've been, I'm just not used to it. So I'm getting older every year. And what I'm going to do now is get back in the gym and start getting in shape again, because I took about 7 months off I didn't just sit and do nothing, but I lived somewhat active, kept my push-ups up and some light workouts, but I, definitely deteriorated a little bit because I just needed to recover. I really trained hard, and I was running really hard for 3 years straight. So by the time last summer was over, I was doing good in the gym last summer, Du Bois. But by the end of the summer, I'm like, wow, man, I've been training for like 3 years. I got to chill. So I did, and I let myself eat a little junk food and relax a lot and have a few beers every now and then, and, once a week or something like that sometimes. And it softened me up a little. Yeah, thank you, Melody. I appreciate you watching and saying hi. And yeah, this is real working class. This is sort of like people that have this back in this town, back in the day, they were high school sweethearts. They got married, they had kids, and they all worked at factories, and they just bought homes like this, There's a lot of working class neighborhoods that are still hanging on. Everything's changing, but there's a lot of deep family roots that go back in this town, more so than in most towns. Like I say, because everybody's like high school sweethearts, they get married and have kids, and then the generation of high school sweethearts get married and have kids. And everybody just kind of knows each other. So it gets a little cliquey and definitely a little bit reserved. And I definitely don't look like the average cat down the street. So people are a tad put off by me, and I don't have people giving me a lot of warm invites. Hey, come on home, hang out with us. I don't get much of that, but they are nice. Generally they're pretty honest. There's one of the two gyms that I go to. This guy's he's a good guy. He's a little shallow in his own way, but I like him a lot. And he's been a good contribution. Yeah, he grows a garden, and he tries to donate and sell some, donate some. He's kind of a gentleman farmer, I guess. And he runs this shop. This was his dream, and it didn't turn out as good as he wanted it to, but it's good enough for him to barely kind of living, and he's somewhat happy. He wishes it was going to be like more people appreciate it or something, which you can't blame him. He put a lot into this place. Overall, it's hanging on, but it's certainly, I think more people should appreciate the contribution that he's made to this community. And although he isn't going to say anything, I can kind of tell, he feels a tad bruised because it didn't. Oh, look at this cool van. Wow. No, that's a Dodge van, yeah. That looks like, what, 1978? Probably right around the same year as Scooby-Doo. Well, anyways, I'm going to go hang out in the gym. And I just want to say hello to everyone that's continuing to follow me. That is Elk County Ammo and Arms. Everybody's big hunters around here. I even let people off work for the first day of deer hunting. Yep, and this here is the Sheets in Pennsylvania. I guess Sheets has actually grown to go all the way down to maybe North Carolina. It's like, I think, Virginia and Maryland and down to North Carolina, I think. Maybe there's some in Ohio, but I think it started here in Pennsylvania. And every single town in Pennsylvania has got a Sheets right in the middle of it. And they let you sit there for a long time. They don't give you any problems, and you could plug your phone in and recharge it. So if there wasn't a Sheets around here, it would be a lot more miserable for Noah Road because of my, chronic homelessness and stuff like that. This is one of the places I go to kind of recharge my phone. If, of course, I don't have a gym membership. When I have a gym membership, then I charge my phone at the gyms. So anyways, I'm going to go hang out at the gym. I don't know if I'm going to get a workout in. I'd probably be too embarrassed to try to film it. But yeah, I'm trying to get my workouts back to a bit of a routine. So anyways, thank you. I thank you all, for anyone for hanging on and listening for this long. It's been going on for probably 40 minutes or something. 34 minutes. All right. Well, anyways, God bless. And I just wanted to say, I guess I'm going to head out now and go down into the gym. It's 24-hour access. That's kind of cool, huh? If I walk into the gym, it probably will cut off the live stream. All right. Anyways, God bless everyone. And, any way you want to take that. And thank you. And I will be on in a couple of days, probably. I hope you all have a great summer. Happy 4th to anybody who's celebrating. Bye-bye.